Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
WWE Night of Champions is officially in the books as well, and there is no sign of Roman Reigns' return yet. The former undisputed WWE Champion was last seen on Raw after WrestleMania when Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins aligned to unleash a brutal attack on the star to write him off TV. The WWE Universe expected Reigns to return during the main event at Night of Champions. The main event featured CM Punk challenging John Cena for the undisputed title. Mr. Money in the Bank attempted to cash in his contract during the match after Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed created some chaos. However, the cash-in attempt failed after chaos broke out in the arena. While fans waited for Reigns to make his appearance, the Tribal Chief didn't come out. With his cash-in attempt having failed, Seth Rollins might come out furious this week on WWE Raw. On the other hand, CM Punk would also be furious after Rollins' appearance ended up being a distraction for him, which led to his loss. With the two confronting each other, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed could make their presence felt with a brutal attack on the best in the world. This is where Roman Reigns could make his return and save his former hated rival. The former undisputed WWE Champion could come out to save Punk from the attack, and further could be joined by Penta to even the odds. This would eventually set up a massive six-man tag team match between Seth Rollins' stable and the newly formed trio for a stage like SummerSlam. Although this angle is speculative, time will tell what the company has in store for the stars next. Roman Reigns' return to WWE is imminent. While fans have been speculating that the Tribal Chief will make his return to the Stamford-based company for weeks now, Reigns has not made an appearance yet. However, a recent report in the Wrestling Observer newsletter has given a delightful update to the fans. As per the update, the former Bloodline star's return is imminent, and he will be back in time to build for SummerSlam 2025 as well. This also confirms that Reigns will make his way to MetLife Stadium this summer and will return to action for the first time since WrestleMania. With the ongoing storylines, it is seemingly clear that Roman Reigns will be a part of a tag team match instead of a singles match at the premium live event. The star seems likely to team up with CM Punk and another big name for a match against Rollins and his faction. Only time will tell when Roman Reigns returns to WWE TV. It had been months since the WWE Universe last heard the echo of the Tribal Chief thundering through an arena. Roman Reigns, once the most dominant figure in sports entertainment, had vanished into a self-imposed exile after the bloodline fractured from within. Whispers of betrayal, new kings rising, and the empire he built crumbling under Solo Sikoa's iron fist had left fans speculating, would Roman ever come back? Monday Night Raw had been rolling on as usual, but beneath the surface, cracks were widening. The Judgment Day had grown even bolder in Roman's absence, and Solo's new version of the Bloodline, more savage and reckless than ever, wasn't confined to SmackDown anymore. They were crossing borders, territory lines, and rivalries alike. In the main event of Raw, Seth Rollins, the architect, the visionary, the man Roman Reigns once called a brother, then a snake, then an enemy, stood in the ring, exhausted but defiant. He had just gone 20 minutes with Finn Balor, fighting for the World Heavyweight Championship he'd clawed back after Roman's dominance had kept him from gold for years. Rollins had barely raised the title when the lights dimmed. The arena buzzed. This wasn't Judgment Day's style. This wasn't Finn. This was something else. A new theme blasted through the speakers, hard-hitting drums, a distorted beat. Solo Sikoa's silhouette emerged at the top of the ramp, flanked by Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. The new bloodline had come to Raw, and they weren't here to negotiate. Rollins dropped the title to his feet and spread his arms, smirking. "Come on then," he screamed into the mic, spit flying. He'd always been reckless, daring the odds. But 3-on-1? Even Seth freaking Rollins couldn't architect his way out of that. The bloodline circled him like hyenas. The commentary team's voices pitched with tension. "Where's Cody? Where's Sammy? Where's anyone? Rollins is alone out here." Solo stepped forward, dead-eyed and cold. He said nothing. His actions spoke plenty. He lunged, Samoan spike to the throat. Rollins crumpled to his knees, gasping. Jacob Fatu roared and crashed a running splash into him. The arena booed. Some fans even started to chant Roman. Roman. Almost mocking themselves for wishing it. The ring was chaos. Solo ordered a table pulled from under the apron. The bloodline propped it up, laying Rollins across it like an offering to whatever angry spirit Solo worshipped now. Fatu scaled the turnbuckle, 280 pounds of primal force ready to break Rollins' ribs, maybe his spirit. Suddenly, the big screens flickered. The music stopped. Solo froze mid-command, glaring at the entrance. Done, done, D-U-N-D-U-N, D-U-N-D-U-N. The familiar, ominous notes hit. The arena erupted. Roman Reigns' face, bigger than life, appeared on the Titantron for the first time in nearly a year. The Bloodline's enforcer dropped from the turnbuckle, pacing like a caged animal. Solo snarled at the screen, betrayal, defiance, a son revolting against the father he'd usurped. Then the roar of the crowd turned to an unglued earthquake, because the camera didn't stay on the screen. It cut to the entrance ramp. And there he was. Roman Reigns. The tribal chief. No longer in a suit. No longer the polished manipulator. He wore a simple black hoodie, hair pulled back, eyes cold with the weight of everything he'd lost, and everything he'd come to reclaim. He didn't raise his arms. He didn't pose. He just marched. The Bloodline panicked for half a heartbeat, then Solo barked an order, and Fatu and Tonga charged up the ramp. Roman met them halfway. He speared Tonga so hard the man folded in half. He smashed Fatu with a Superman punch that made the front row leap out of their seats. Roman locked eyes with Solo. For a moment, Raw felt like a SmackDown civil war had crossed enemy lines. Solo yelled at him from the ring, frothing, beckoning him to fight. Roman climbed in, slow, deliberate, like a lion cornering a defiant cub. The crowd was deafening. "This is awesome. This is awesome." Solo swung first. Roman blocked. Right hand. Left hand. Another right. He rocked Solo, cornered him, and hoisted him up, Samoan drop. The irony wasn't lost on the fans. Roman, the old alpha, had laid out the new self-crowned king with his own family's legacy. Rollins, barely conscious, dragged himself up in the corner. Their eyes met. For a heartbeat, the past replayed itself, the Shield, the betrayal, the chairs to the back, the wars, the titles. Roman didn't speak. He just extended a hand. Rollins stared at it. A hush fell over the chaos. Then, with a grim smile, Seth slapped Roman's hand, and the tribal chief pulled him up. The show went off the air with Roman and Seth standing together, broken bodies, unspoken grudges, but a moment of truce born not out of friendship, but out of war. Backstage, the whispers would start immediately. Did Roman just save Seth Rollins? Did the tribal chief just stand against his own bloodline? What does this mean for SmackDown? For Raw? For the entire WWE? One thing was clear, Roman Reigns wasn't gone. He was never gone. He was biding his time, letting the new kings get comfortable on his throne. And now he was back to reclaim it, by any means necessary, even if it meant standing shoulder to shoulder with the man he once hated most. In that fleeting moment, the WWE Universe believed that the story was far from over, that old enemies could unite when the wolves circled too close, and that in this ruthless world, sometimes you need a devil to fight a monster. As the screen faded to black, one thing lingered louder than the roar of the fans. Roman Reigns is back. The real war begins now. WWE may have subtly leaked Roman Reigns' SummerSlam 2025 match. Analyzing the hint. The anticipation for Roman Reigns' WWE return has peaked as SummerSlam 2025 is right around the corner. Recent reports suggest the OTC could return soon and start the build for a match at the biggest party of the summer. The undisputed tribal chief would likely go after Seth Rollins and his heel faction for sending him packing at WWE Raw after WrestleMania 41. However, Triple H may have subtly leaked Roman Reigns' potential matchup at SummerSlam 2025. The OTC could go all in a war against Seth Rollins and his heel group in a six-man tag team bout, teaming up with LA Knight and CM Punk, who have been competing and struggling against the heel stable lately. Knight and Punk could work together and need one more member to go up against three powerhouses, and Reigns might be the perfect candidate. Roman will likely keep himself away from the singles action as it would increase the risks of sustaining an injury, which could cause a long in-ring break that he can't afford as he is set to film his upcoming Hollywood movie, Street Fighter. The angle proposed above is speculative, and nothing has been confirmed yet. Roman Reigns may not return to WWE alone. In an appearance on the Last Word podcast, former WWE employee Tommy Carlucci predicted that Roman Reigns may not return alone and would bring along some backup to continue his feud against Seth Rollins and his heel crew. I don't know where it's going. I think it's going to go for a while with this whole Wiseman thing. And maybe Roman Reigns coming back is going to bring some boys with him and start with the Wiseman. I mean, it's wide open right now. With anticipation rising each passing week, it will be interesting to see whether Roman Reigns makes his much-awaited return to World Wrestling Entertainment and gets his revenge on his former Shield brother anytime soon. For the WWE Universe, any sign of Roman Reigns' next move is enough to send shockwaves through the fanbase. The Tribal Chief, who has ruled over WWE's main event scene for nearly a decade, has mastered the art of silence, surprise, and spectacle. And now, with SummerSlam 2025 inching closer, the rumor mill has caught fire once again, this time sparked by a subtle clue that may have slipped through WWE's tightly guarded creative vault. It wasn't a dramatic promo or a surprise appearance. It was far more cryptic, a single visual that aired for barely 5 seconds during last week's Monday Night Raw. During a hype package for SummerSlam, eagle-eyed fans noticed something odd. As the graphics ran through iconic moments from SummerSlam's past and present, a shadowy figure resembling Roman Reigns appeared, standing face-to-face with none other than Seth Rollins. At first glance, it seemed like a simple throwback. Roman and Seth have history. They have clashed countless times, brothers turned rivals turned reluctant allies and back again. But the devil is in the details. The footage used wasn't from the archives. It was new. A split-second frame, a fresh arena, new gear, and the unmistakable SummerSlam logo flickering behind them. And just like that, a spark turned into a wildfire online. The Architect versus the Tribal Chief, one more time? So, what does this mean? Was it a production error? Or did WWE's creative team intentionally drop this Easter egg to test the waters before making it official? After all, Seth freaking Rollins has been circling the top of the mountain once again. With Roman Reigns absent for months, reportedly recovering from nagging injuries and recharging after an exhausting title run, Seth has reminded everyone why he is the Architect, the man who can build and destroy empires. Roman's last match at WrestleMania 41 ended with a controversial finish. He lost the undisputed Universal Championship to Cody Rhodes in what many called the greatest WrestleMania main event of the modern era. Since then, the bloodline has splintered into chaos, with Solo Sikoa carving his own path, new enforcers stepping in, and Jey Uso holding down Raw. Yet Roman has remained silent, watching, waiting, biding his time like a lion recovering for one final hunt. Why SummerSlam makes perfect sense. If Roman Reigns wants revenge or redemption, SummerSlam is the stage. WWE's biggest party of the summer has hosted some of his defining moments, from his brutal battles with Brock Lesnar to shocking turns with The Shield. It's the second crown jewel on WWE's calendar, a perfect battleground to reclaim his dominance or settle old scores. And Seth Rollins? No one embodies unfinished business quite like him. He was the first to betray Roman. He was the one man Roman could never fully break. Even when Roman's title run steamrolled everyone, Seth was the crack in the armor, an unsolved puzzle. If WWE really is planning Roman's epic return for SummerSlam, who better to stand across the ring than the one man who knows every weakness the Tribal Chief hides beneath his golden gloves? The clues add up. The supposed leak wasn't the only clue. In a backstage segment on Raw that same night, Seth Rollins was shown taping up his knee, subtle symbolism for an old wound Roman once targeted in their past battles. Later, during a digital exclusive interview, Seth smirked when asked about SummerSlam. "It's gonna be big. Real big. Some ghosts you gotta face head on, you know?" Was that line scripted or Seth's personal brand of mischief? With him, it's impossible to tell. But the timing feels too perfect to dismiss. Fans also noticed that WWE quietly added new Roman Reigns merchandise to their store last week. The designs are fresh but subtle. One shirt has the word Empire slashed through with a single word underneath, Rebuild. To many, that's a direct nod to Roman's potential arc, the tribal chief coming back not just to reclaim power, but to rebuild it brick by brick after Cody toppled his dynasty. A battle for the soul of WWE. This possible rematch has poetic symmetry. It's not just another clash of two top stars, it's a collision of WWE's past and future. Roman is the unyielding symbol of control, of the bloodline's iron grip. Seth is chaos, freedom, rebellion, a man who refuses to kneel before any king. If WWE goes through with this, the story writes itself. Seth wants to finally rid WWE of Roman's shadow once and for all. Roman wants to prove that even in defeat, he remains the head of the table. No one eats until he says so. What if it's all a swerve? Of course, this could all be classic WWE misdirection. The company knows how to manipulate fan theories better than anyone. Maybe the shadowy image was designed to stir buzz, to draw eyes away from the real plan. Could it be someone else entirely? A returning legend? A shocking debut? Some say Roman's next big match might not even be Seth Rollins. It could be The Rock, finally answering the family question that WrestleMania never settled. Or perhaps Solo Sikoa, having taken over the bloodline, will stand face to face with the man who made him. One thing is certain, Roman's return will shake WWE to its core. Whether this subtle leak was intentional or accidental, it proves one thing: the WWE Universe is ready for Roman Reigns to come back and shake the foundations once again. Love him or hate him, no one makes an entrance like Roman. No one builds tension like Roman. No one turns a match into a chapter of a larger, blood-soaked family saga like Roman Reigns. So if SummerSlam really does mark his resurrection, the only question left is simple: who will kneel and who will fall? One shadow, one frame, one hint, and WWE has the world talking. Mission accomplished. Now all that's left is for the tribal chief to return and remind everyone why this is his island of relevancy, and why, when Roman Reigns is around, no secret stays buried for long. Until then, keep your eyes open. The next clue might drop when you least expect it.